In this video, we'll have a look at our course on the DP-700 Fabric Data Engineer. Hello, I'm Philip Burton of idodata.com. Microsoft's DP-700 Fabric Data Engineer Associate exam is for you if you want to show your skills in Microsoft Fabric. Specifically, you will be implementing and managing an analytics solution, ingesting and transforming data, and monitoring and optimizing an analytics solution. So if I scroll down and then click on the DP-700 study guide, we can see in more detail what you need. You need to be able to configure Microsoft Fabric workspace settings, implement lifecycle management in Fabric, configure security and governance, and orchestrate processes using a pipeline and notebook. You'll also need to design and implement loading patterns for full, incremental, and streaming data, ingest and transform batch data using PySpark, SQL, and KQL, and ingest and transform streaming data using KQL. You'll also need to monitor Fabric items, identify and resolve errors, and optimize performance. Now, how does the DP-700 sit within Microsoft's exams and within the world of Power BI and Fabric? Well, if we go to the Microsoft Fabric Career Hub, here you can see the sort of things that a data analyst, somebody who was looking at the PL300 Power BI Associate exam, would need. They'd need to be able to transform the data using Power Query, model the data, adding additional calculations such as columns, measures, and tables, and then export it into the Power BI service. Now, an analytics engineer, which content is covered by the DP-600 exam, will also be required to manipulate data more and store it in lakehouses and data warehouses. They'll also need to ingest it using pipelines and data flows. A data engineer, which is covered by the DP-700, concentrates on the data source, the ingestion, and the transformation. So this can include mirroring and shortcuts, streaming data using Event Stream, and also using notebooks. Now, it does not cover the Power BI section, so the DP-700 is 100% in Fabric. The PL300 is 100% in Power BI, and the DP600 is in between the two, partly in Power BI and partly in Microsoft Fabric. So to help you achieve your goal of passing the DP700 exam, we are now pleased to launch our DP700 Fabric Data Engineer Associate course. You can see this by going to idodata.com, going to Fabric, and clicking on the DP700. So no prior knowledge is needed whatsoever. If you've got previous experience with PySpark, SQL, or KQL, then that will help, but it's not needed. In this course, we will go from the very beginning for all three of these languages. So first of all, we will have a look at data pipelines and data flows. We'll look at ingesting data and scheduling using a data flow Gen 2, and then go deeper in terms of transforming it. We'll also have a look at ingesting data and scheduling using a data pipeline, including implementing file partitioning. Now, some of this will have been covered in other Microsoft exams. The DP600, for instance, requires you to have some knowledge of data flow Gen 2 and data pipeline, and the PL300 requires you to have fairly extensive knowledge of using Power Query in Power BI. So this is the user interface for the data flow Gen 2. So if you have already studied for the PL300 or for the DP600, you'll find there is some overlap, and you'll be able to go into this course with knowledge of certain of these items. We'll then look at manipulating data using a notebook, PySpark, and SQL. So we will load and save data using notebooks, but then we will turn to PySpark principally, but also SQL, for choosing columns and rows in a data frame, converting data types, aggregating, so that's grouping, sorting data, and more. We'll then look at transforming data in a data warehouse and event house. So this uses SQL for the data warehouse and KQL for the event house. And finally, we've got plenty of other topics, such as ingesting and transforming streaming data, creating shortcuts and mirroring, optimizing performance, and workspace settings and monitoring. This course is in excess of 13 hours and contains plenty of quizzes and practice activities, so you can be sure that you are learning. Now, because this is the launch of the DP-700, I don't have many written reviews for it, but one of them is well organized and structured, the contents of the course. I have plenty of reviews for the previous course, the DP-600 course, including I purchased several other courses, but none compares to this one. And I enjoyed this course and I learned some really useful things. And I see from LinkedIn that several people have already passed the DP-700, having gone through my course. Now, if you go to our website, idodata.com, and go to Fabric DP-700, at the bottom of the page there is a click here to get started. Now, this link includes a voucher, so you'll be able to get the DP-700 course for a reduced price. So, if you're interested in studying for and hopefully passing the DP-700 exam, then please look at our course on Fabric Data Engineer Associate. Please note that this course is not affiliated with, endorsed by, or sponsored by Microsoft. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then please click the like, and why not click that bell and subscribe? That way you'll be notified of any new videos. Are you going to do the Microsoft DP-700 exam? Why not let me know in the comments? If you want more information about Microsoft's DP-700 exam, then there is a video on the end screen which you can click on to find out more. I'm Philip Burton of idodata.com. Thanks for watching and keep learning.